We grow when we give.
We grow when we give.
We grow when we give.
Nosotros crecemos cuando damos.
We grow when we give.
与えるとき成長する。
We grow when we give. Welcome to ROG, Return on Generosity, a podcast celebrating generosity at work. Not financial giving, giving valuable time, alternative perspectives, and genuine collaboration.
Welcome back to ROG, Return on Generosity podcast. I'm your host, Shannon Cassidy. Today, we're honored to be joined by Jason Henkel, the founder and chief balance engineer of Focus to Evolve. You'll learn more about that as we go on. Jason is on a mission to illuminate a path to meaningful output, lasting balance, and enthusiastic expression of natural gifts in work and life. At Focus to Evolve, Jason blends cutting-edge brain science, body chemistry, and advanced tool utilization to help professionals reclaim their time, energy, and joy. He teaches leaders and teams how to accomplish more with less stress through what he calls balanced thriving. Jason believes that the hustle harder culture is overdue for an upgrade. He trains and empowers people to achieve success without burnout, busyness, or sacrifice. In fact, he believes that we all could work one full day less while achieving even more meaningful outcomes. We're going to learn more about that today. What I appreciate most about you, Jason, on a long list of things, is your willingness and ability to help us focus to evolve so that we can thrive. Welcome to ROG.
Thank you. It's good to be on here. I love how you played the title of the company into this. Yeah, let's put a little more energy into focusing on evolving. That's
Yes.
great. Thanks for that.
No, I mean, really, that's all we could do is evolve, right? It's like we don't want to be the old version of ourselves, and we have to take it one step at a time. So I think your philosophy on like, what are some of these practical things that we can do, like email management, to just take the nuttiness out of our lives.
The nuttiness, the chaos.
The chaos.
It
yes.
feels like
so
that.
Could we start a little bit with your background?
I would love to share that. I guess the reason why I've dedicated at least this current season of my life to what I'm doing now is because you may have heard it said that when someone says their mess became their message, it really is. That's my story.
That's it.
I was in the corporate hustle and enjoying it, by the way. I did a couple things. I sold for Xerox for a while, where that's a hustle culture there when you're selling that early in the career. Cut my teeth with that, then went into medical equipment sales, and then plugged into a chemical company out of Amsterdam called Akzo Nobel. Huge company. I think they operate in like 112 countries or something. And worked really hard within that firm for about 13 years, I think it was. Started in sales, went into management, went into operations, then moved over to their IT department and got assigned to a really fun global role where I was deploying ERP and CRM systems all around the world for them. So, me and my little team would parachute into a country and we'd map out their business process hierarchy. And then with them in the room, map out their future state business processes compared to where they are now. And then we'd say, okay, is that what we want to do here? And okay, everyone's sign in blood now because we're going to deploy platforms to make sure that happens. And it was a really cool process. Like I always tell people I got my PhD in business process by doing that all around the world.
Amazing.
That's the cool news. Now, the other side, the two-edged sword and everything, right? Always yin yang. And that role took me down. It was heavy lifting. If any of your listeners have ever deployed an ERP or a CRM system, it is gritty, grindy work.
It is. For those who don't know what those acronyms mean, do you mind just explaining?
Yeah, enterprise resource platform. It's basically underlying database that touches every area of operation and kind of brings everything into one site, at least when it's done well. And then CRM is customer relationship management. So it's more like front end of the business sales side that plugs into the ERP and everything.
Yeah, it's massive.
So it's just like, all encompassing, very complex stuff. But here's the thing, when you have toot of 6 of those deployments going simultaneously in different countries, different time zones, different cultures, different languages. It was awesome.
Wow.
And this old country farm boy, I grew up in a little town, a little cornfield called Shelby, Ohio. Wonderful place to grow up. But that's where I learned some pretty strong work ethic, baling hay and hanging drywall. And that was my modus operandi, was to outwork everybody. And so I took that on into my career, got through my schooling, and plugged in and kind of did that. And it worked, just trading minutes and grit in for money. Early in the career, you're learning, and that's what you do. I was going to go get rich and make money and do my, start my life. Well, this particular role got me. I found that I just no longer belonged to myself. I was trading in parts of myself for that particular role. And combined with all the travel and the time zone shifting, my circadian rhythm was so out of whack. I lost my personality. I was going numb in general. And I'll never forget one trip home, just to kind of bring this to where we are now. One trip home from, I think it was Kuala Lumpur. My wife met me at the front door. It was a long trip, like 2 or 3 weeks. She met me at the front door with a big old slap and a hug that said, "This is not the life I signed up for." Mm-hmm. When you're gone, you're gone. And we had a young one at home and another one in the oven at that time. She said, "When you're gone, you're gone. But then when you're home, that darn phone is in your face.
Yep.
We never have you." Mm-hmm. And man, was she right. And I felt the truth in that, that feminine wisdom, when it comes out, it comes out. And it usually means it's time to listen.
Yeah.
And I did, thank God. And honestly, it saved my life that I decided to listen at that point, or that she, leaned into that degree where I had to hear it. That led me down a different path. I actually went to put my 2-week notice in on my next trip to South Amsterdam, where the headquarters was. And there was a guy there, a senior guy, who pulled me aside and said, "Hey, I hear you. Can we have a little more time? I want to introduce you to a few concepts, a coach." And anyways, it ended up taking me down some new rabbit holes. And the interesting thing is, Shannon, I've always been the guy who, if you could name a self-help book, I bet I've read it 3 times. Biohacking extraordinaire. I was following Steve Pavlina, who was way before Tim Ferriss, like back when there was no YouTube. Like I was into extracting every
all the little
ounce.
tactics and
everything. Well, I got introduced to some things, and it was new to me. It was at a deeper level, a more fundamental level, and it helped me to really kind of inform me that I didn't have a time management problem. I had a self-management problem. And when I truly accepted that inside, that this is all on me, I keep on feeding myself the same lunch every day. I'm the one packing the lunch the night before. And then some other things I'm sure we'll get into. It categorically shifted the way that I handled my workload and my life load. And after I got on the other side of that, I thought, oh my gosh, I looked around and everyone I knew was drowning in the same way. Workload spillover, burnt out, email overwhelm, like all the same thing going on with everyone. It wasn't like some people, it was like everyone. So I said, okay, I got out of that and I know how to do it. I'm dedicating my life to doing this until I have influenced enough people around me where I saw a shift in the culture. So that's my background. I hope it wasn't too much.
No, it wasn't. That is awesome. And, like you said, like your mess became your message.
Yeah.
I mean, that wouldn't have made sense if we didn't understand where you came from with that. And what I was saying about you in my introduction is that I just love how you've packaged this in a way that is accessible to people. And then through your story, I appreciate your receptivity to the new tools and ways of organizing your life, and that you had a self-management problem. So you were like humble enough to say, okay, what can I do here? Yeah. That's key.
Yeah. It really is. What's that Rumi, a beautiful Rumi saying that says, when I was clever, I was changing the world. But then when I became wise, I changed myself. And I mean, it all starts there. That's the work for all of us.
It is. Yeah. And It's both, I would say, potentially overwhelming, but also really exciting because that is the one thing that we can do something about.
Right. And
Unlike all these other things that influence how we feel, like we really could get a lot of ROI on investing in our own
I love
minds
that.
and our capabilities and our understanding of things and our habits.
I love that you said that. Right? We don't have to wait for anything. We don't
Yeah.
have to get a permission. You don't have to do anything to start working on yourself. Like it's right now, always. That's
Yeah.
so empowering.
Right. It's like every day we get a chance to practice. That's something that I think about too. Like, especially like for me with patience. And I think, okay, well, today's a whole new day. I get to practice patience in a whole new way today.
Yeah.
And there's no scorecard. I'm not going to drag that along with me. I'm just going to start fresh. So your company's tagline is illuminating a path to meaningful output, lasting balance, and enthusiastic expression of natural gifts.
Yeah.
What inspired that mission?
It was a witnessing in myself, really. When I finally kind of got out of that jar I was in, I just finally wasn't tired anymore. I stopped that busyness thing. I just outlawed it. I stopped being distracted, and I stopped being just tired. I really think that there's a human energy crisis in the West, in the working world, in the knowledge working world. I don't care what role or seniority level you're in. There's a real energy crisis going on, and it can be dealt with. And so when I got out of that, I noticed the level of vital force I had, and it allowed me to be authentic for the very first time. That's what that illuminated gift thing is. It's like we've all got something. We were all plopped here for a reason individually. So, but when you're tired, distracted, hurried, busy, that you can't be authentic. You can't do what you were put here to do.
So would you say like a starting place is to just recognize how you feel? Like, so for those listening that are like, I feel that, I feel overwhelmed, I am exhausted.
Yeah, I'd say that's the starting place and the ending place and the middle place.
Okay.
Feelings fully felt is bliss. That's life. I mean, that is, I'm with the yes and camp, and bring your heart, bring your mind. We've all done the mind pretty well. Like we're smart. You're trying hard. You're a good thinker. But man, when you bring your heart to the game, when you bring that, the right side of the brain and the heart and the body and the feelings into it, you will run circles around the self that doesn't do it.
So you're saying like being aware of how you're feeling. And you also talk about like contagiously centered. So is that the same thing? Like when you're talking about how we need to be contagiously centered?
It is. It leads to that. First, develop your tools to getting to stillness. Be still and know. And whether you're, if we bring religion into it, it's just interesting whether you're talking about Jesus or Lao Tzu or the Prophet Muhammad or the Buddha, you name it. They have so many verses around the importance of getting to stillness.
Yeah.
There's where the Great Spirit flows through you and it just blows you up, ready to go. And so that's a big part of it. Getting to stillness leads you to that. That's your centered place. And I throw the word contagiously centered in there because guess what? When you get to that place, everyone around you feels it. You become an atmosphere. People breathe that and they change. You don't even need to lift a finger.
So they're like, there's something about them. They'll probably say there's something about that person. I don't know what it is.
That dude?
Yeah, but it's that centered, and that centeredness is a byproduct of being still. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it's a. I don't even know if it's a byproduct. It's almost like the same thing. That unity feeling happens when you get to stillness. When you start quieting the mind and opening the heart. That's that centered. That is so contagious. And so many people are so tired, they feel it. They're like, what's in that water? I want to drink some of that juice.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
How does that affect a team? Like, I'm very interested in team development and high performance teams. Like, how have you seen that contagiously centered gift influencing a team or the lack of it?
It gives the permission for everyone to be a high velociraptor accomplisher in a healthier way. You don't have to run around like a frantic apprentice with your hair on fire all the time. In fact, real professionals don't. Anyone who's ever moved any dial, look at them. They're calm, they're deliberate, they're authentic. They're not putting on that frantic show to impress the boss. That's an adolescent way of being that is still running rampant. And there are a lot of firms who are catching on to this where, whoa. We need to help our people become regenerated and get recentered, because that's where their magic lives.
Yeah.
This badge of honor of, you see my emails last night at 10 p.m. and, doing
Saturday
carbon
morning.
copying people to make sure that you're seen. I get it, but that's just a scared little child doing that. That's not a craft person. That's not a professional. So it's just, I get a little aggressive with some of this language, because I'm aggressively inviting people in to have the courage to do it differently. Be the one on the team that does it differently. It gives permission to the rest of the team. And the profitability and the strategic outcome is so obvious, so fast that no one can argue it. The boss can't fire you. You're that good all of a sudden. So you don't need to worry about all that look at me stuff anymore.
Yeah, I know a lot of people who struggle with this, who have shared with me that they often think that they don't have time to get to the email throughout the day or during the work week. So that's why they're cleaning out their inbox on a Saturday morning or something like that. And so what would be your response to somebody who thinks that that's reality?
Yeah, you don't have the time. You're never given the time. You engineer it in. You decide to take the role of the architect of your life, this one life that you're given, this miracle, and you decide, I'm going to do it a different way. Like, it starts with that will and that intention, and then you begin from there. And that's what I did. That's actually, I'm not trying to be a sales pitch here, but that is literally what I teach is this is on you. No one is going to help you out of this. You better start the work.
Yeah.
And there are ways to do it. There are really good ways to do it that work immediately. Like one of the modules we cover in our spacious productivity training and balanced thriving engagements is called architectural calendaring.
Okay. Tell us about that. So this is called Spacious Productivity, is like the title of this
workshop
module, would you say?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like a workshop I'll do with teams.
Okay.
And the one of the modules is that architectural calendaring. And this is an idea where you take on the role of the architect. And if you think about an architect in a building, the architect makes this very advanced, very meticulous blueprint, right? And then when they're done with that blueprint, it is done well, because it would be dangerous not to do it well. The building would be crooked and ugly and unsafe, right?
Yeah, sure.
Then they hand the blueprint off to a general contractor or to the contractor. And it says, do that. Now, you're the architect of tomorrow. And when tomorrow comes, you're not the architect anymore. You're the contractor. You're going to take that blueprint and you're going to do what that blueprint says. That's how you build a perfect building that is safe, beautiful, and helps the community and does all it's supposed to do. Most of us don't have an architect. Most of us are jumping into this morning and opening that inbox and drinking from that fire hose.
Right.
You're not being an architect or a contractor. You're just like trying to keep a nostril above water.
Yeah.
So it does have to do with how you use your platforms. Like we coach on optimizing. It's a brain-based Outlook optimization thing, or Gmail or Asana or whatever the platform of operation is. It doesn't matter. They all do the same thing, but you have to use it as an architect and a contractor, or else it's just this nasty pile of unprioritized, non-date stamped, non-contextualized things. And it feels terrible. You have to untether from email. There's no strategy in email.
No.
None.
What is when do you check your email? How do you do it?
Yeah, it's everything that I will say I'll say it's what I do and it's what I coach on. I establish my cadence of exposure to it. So I personally do 4 email checks a day. That's me. I don't recommend that for anyone. Like, you have to find your own blueprint.
Your own thing.
Yep. Mine's from what I'm involved in is 4 a time. So I'll do it really early morning to clear through what comes in the evening before. I'll do it mid-morning, really early afternoon, and then one little afternoon
right before
cap.
the end. Okay. Yeah. And so what caused you to name it spatial productivity?
Spacious productivity.
Oh, spacious.
Yeah.
What caused you
No,
to call it spacious productivity?
No, I'm glad. Thanks for that clarity point. It's really important because it helps you to be highly productive with a feeling of spaciousness. So imagine being wildly productive and feeling spaciousness doing it. It's
amazing.
a feeling. I'm selling a feeling here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. It's so motivating to think about that.
It goes back to our feeling thing, right?
Yeah. And like
How
as
do
you
you
said, it's the
feel?
beginning, the middle, and the end. It's the whole thing.
I mean, people are working to make money in order to buy things that give you a feeling. Why not just start with the end? What feeling do you want?
Yeah.
Go for that.
Start there. Oh my gosh, I love that.
And we'd be surprised how little you actually have to work to get enough money to get the feeling when you look at it like that.
Oh, so liberating.
Yeah.
All right, so this program is called Balanced Thriving. You've just been talking about one piece of it, this spacious productivity. Then you've got deep immersion. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, deep immersion is fun. This is my passion, right? I mean, the center, I love spacious productivity because it really is like a B12 awareness shot for people who are kind of stuck in the trance of busyness, let's call it, like I was. And I'm allowed to talk about it because I was as deep in it as anyone has ever been.
Yep.
Almost lost my family over it. But when you get into then the second exposure, so the first one is, we put teams and groups and organizations through spacious productivity. Then there's always like a group where like, whoa, that was something. And I want to go samurai with that. So we do these, I used to do a lot of one-on-one coaching. I kind of eliminated that. Now I do cohort coaching. So if a team or a few people are interested, we also match different people up from different companies. But we'll do between 2 and 6. We've done up to 8, but I like to keep the intimacy. So 2 to 6 people where we'll go into what we call deep immersion, where we go molecular. And
I love it.
It takes people to a whole other level. And that's why I'm like, hey, whatever your definition of the most dream day is, like, let's make that the 80% average and we're going to do it. It's never 100%. That's not how the cosmos works. You're going to get your face blown off. Right. But most days, yes, we're doing it. And we can kind of do that woo way thing where we go with the flow. We get everything that's needed to be done. We get that extreme clarity. And then execution has to do with all the things like architectural calendar and using your platform like Outlook the way it was designed to be used instead of just drinking from the email all day and many other things. But that's what balanced thriving is. It's a deep dive. It's rolling your sleeves up and we're going to do this. Really.
Awesome.
It's like boot camp, so to speak.
Yeah. It's like just getting into it. So like, what would be an example of something that a participant unlocked in that deep immersion session?
It's actually similar content, just deeper.
Okay.
So I'll give you an example. Like a lot of people have never studied the craft of deeply focusing. Neuropsychologists call this you can call them neuropsychologists. There's a term called transient hypofrontality, where the street name for it is called a lot of things like flow state and all this. You can actually engineer that in. It's a blood chemical state. It's a vibrational frequency. It's actually measurable. And when a human is in that, they have this multiplier effect of their cognitive abilities, access to heuristic wisdom, access to speed of memory, old and new skill acquisition. You become remember that movie with Bradley Cooper in it where he took the pill, Limitless?
Yes.
Yeah, everyone
you become
has
limitless. Yeah, I was just thinking the word pliable like came to mind when you were saying that, or like moldable, right? It's like a baby's brain.
But deeply focused on the deliberate items, one thing at a time. And the amount of work you get done per hour is comical. I'll say nothing else. It's actually shocking. And so that would be an example, like how to engineer in and protect bursts of transient hypofrontality in your work. So this is something that everyone can do. There is a specific path to do it. It's what we talk about and teach. Another thing would be around the craft of distraction management. In this digital era and with AI coming on and the agents that are about to hit us, desktop and personal agents, we're going to completely lose the boundary of when we're distracted. And without having studied what are you, who are you, what are you doing, and getting that clarity before the day starts, I wouldn't want to be the person who hasn't had this awareness yet as this next 5 to 10 years comes upon us.
Yeah. Could you share one of those tricks with us? Like, how can we become less distracted?
Yeah, turn all your email alerts off.
Yeah, I already
That's
have
an
that.
easy one. Turn all your digital alerts off. You be the one that says, this is what I'm doing next.
Yeah.
Because
you
we have
choose.
dopamine and we have serotonin and we care a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And so when a ding or a ping or a buzz happens, you look because you care, you're healthy.
Mm-hmm.
You have dopamine, and we're designed for that.
Yeah.
One person on our team interviewed the Nir Eyal, who is one of the engineers who was brought in to Facebook prior to going public to help them design this new tool they were going to call. I don't think they called it Facebook at the time, but this is real early stage. And they said, hey, we need you because we need someone who can help us engineer this new idea we have where we want the success would be you steal human attention and you keep it. Facebook did pretty good at that. And now the whole world, all the social media platforms are based on this Nir Eyal guy.
Yeah.
And that's distraction management. So basically, if you the response to your question, what can we do right now? Turn your alerts off.
Turn your alerts off.
Maybe your calendar alerts should still interrupt you because you've committed time that's specific to someone else and yourself.
They pop up and remind you.
Yeah, but other than that, unless you got a real specific good reason for it, which there are good reasons for it, but just make sure that they are selected.
You're being intentional, right? You're
That's
saying
right.
like be intentional about it. That's great. So what would you say to those who are listening who have ADHD?
ADHD is, I have a lot of people in my life who have ADHD, and I look at it as a superpower when harnessed.
Me too.
I think that we're all on the gamut of every condition that the conventional medicine world says is a problem. And it's a matter of just having awareness of it, studying it. Don't shame, don't guilt yourself, don't feel bad. It's a superpower when it's applied in the right areas.
Yeah.
And so ADHD is just another one. There are some roles that require that ultra high sensitivity switching, that task switching thing. But then when you don't have it, or when you don't need it, well, then get into some of the practices, get into real breath work, get into closing your eyes from time to time, just to slow the clock down a little bit.
Yep.
Breath is always, it's free. It's always with us as long as you're a human. And it is miraculous how well it works to downregulate the nervous system and do that vagal toning. So there, breath, ADHD, use your breath. Just start studying it. Study for the next 5 years on breath work for ADHD control.
Yeah.
And don't shame yourself. Like, it's a superpower. Use it when you want to, and then find the way to downregulate it. And breath being like the easiest, fastest way to do that.
Totally. Because when you talked about being in the zone and the flow and just how like unbelievably brilliant you can be, I mean, that just reminded me of people that I work with who have ADHD and people in my personal life. So the third part of your balanced thriving is AI advantage.
Oh, fun.
I'm so curious to hear about this.
Yeah. So this is really cool because this is a meta level thing. And I put it as the third installment because AI can help a human go really fast. And the last thing in the world I want is to help enable people to go faster in non-deliberate ways.
Yeah.
You know, we don't even know what mountain we're climbing.
Exactly.
I don't know, just go faster,
more. Yeah.
So AI, the AI modules I teach have nothing to do with which tool. I take that back. I just say use the tool you're using. I don't care if it's a GPT or MEM or any of them. There's so many good ones now. And they're all kind of converging into doing kind of similar things. A lot of them are better than others at certain things. And now I hear Grok's coming online with some pretty special capabilities. But at any rate, what I'm focusing on is thought augmentation, self-augmentation. So use whatever tool you want, but use it in a meta way where you can be shown your blind spots with AI. That can change your life instantly.
Like what? What would be an example of how you could identify a blind spot with AI?
Political. I'm just going to go right to like a hot one. Or religion.
Yeah.
Boy, that's a bad person, whether you're left or right. They're bad. Not only they're bad, but they're evil. Okay. Hey, GPT, on this topic, I cannot possibly understand how any person could ever see it in this way. Here's what I think. And I tell them, and here's why they're bad, evil, and wrong all at the same time. Help me to understand how a person could see anything that way. Be prepared.
I love this.
It's going to give you an answer that, unless you just want to stay stuck, you're going to be like, okay, I could see that. Dang it. So that's just one example. Religion, same way. Like, oh, those heathens, whatever.
Yeah, this.
Tell me about that.
Yeah, tell me about that.
Tell me
and
about
what
that.
Is that based in?
Blind spots. The other, there's so many things. Oh my gosh, how it helps us to augment learning as we're reading. Like I'll put my GPT on listen mode, and I'll just be sitting there reading quietly, and then I'll come across a line or something. I'll be like, "Wow, what's that mean?" And I'll say, "Hey, what in like Aldous Huxley's book, Brave New World? What's that soma thing that they're talking about? Oh, on page 344 when they're talking about that, it'll just all of a sudden, it's like you're talking to the book."
Amazing.
If you have a big contract you're reading for business, you can actually put the contract in and talk to the contract. Real questions. So there's just so many ways I could go all day on it, but it's self-augmentation, it's thought augmentation, it's new mental models. Like, hey, here's what I'm thinking about replying to this customer, but I want to layer first principles thinking onto this so that I really come back with something strong. Or let's game layer this. Let's put game theory to this response. Or helping you to say mature no, which all of us need. Oh my goodness. Our boundary protection is disastrous.
Yeah. And it will literally give you like scripts, like things you could say.
Yeah.
And of course you're not going to say it exactly like that, but it gives us, I think, a good foundation to build on.
Sure does. And the last thing I'll say, and everyone can use this one right now just to get some good value. Before you ask your question, think, what subject is this? And then ask it to assume the role of X, a neuropsychologist, a molecular biologist, a professional team development individual, PhD level, please. And help me to understand this. So you tell it to assume the role or assume those roles. And one of the roles, tell it to assume the role of a PhD level prompt engineer and give me 3 prompts that I should ask you to get this result. The prompts that it gives you are mind-blowing.
Like,
yeah. Oh my gosh.
I love it.
It's so juicy.
Yeah. I think it's so exciting.
It is.
Yeah, because then you can invest your time and energy doing other things. Because I think for some people, it's like, okay, this is going to like take away jobs. And it's like, well, maybe some jobs. But if we think about what would be possible if we didn't spend time doing some of these things that AI can do for us, and then we could spend our time in like the next generation of productivity or a value contribution.
Yeah, whatever that might be. And Lord only knows. We especially when robotics catch up with these next iterations of AI and the AI agents that are coming, there's no question, like a lot of things are going to be displaced and different. And who knows what people will do to be productive doing what. I'm going to focus on keep working on self, becoming whole, add value in the ways that you're inspired to. That era where we just got to swing the hammer harder, and the ultimate badge of value is how long you worked and how hard you worked based on shame, guilt, or duty. It's going away. We got news for you. We don't know what's going to replace it, but we're going to do it together. We're all going to be in the same shoes.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's some malevolent force up top laughing, saying, ha, 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 I'm going to take all this from you.
Yeah.
It's there are probably some of those players, but I think there are also some players that are on the exact opposite, some benevolent forces. And so we'll see, but we're going to do it together.
We're going to do it together. That's right. I love it. It's a team sport. So you believe that every professional can accomplish twice as much in less time.
Yeah.
What is one of the first shifts that somebody should make to start to experience that?
Yeah, I'm kind of flooded with ideas. I'd probably start with
just rapid fire then. Yeah.
I'd probably start with
Bring it.
become rested. Work on regenerating yourself first and foremost. Then I would say take time to get really clear. Why are you doing any of this? Why are you getting up in the morning and working? Why? Remind yourself of that. I would say define tomorrow with that clarity. What are the 2 or 4 or 6 things you would do? And then once that's defined, you have everything else in the world is distraction. So you have like an easy little list. The rest is just hard no.
Yeah.
I would say deeply focus one thing at a time. Nobody does that. I mean, nobody. Look at it. Look at your computer screen. How many windows do you have open down there? It's like,
right.
It's just
what am I doing?
It's a lost craft. Deep present mindedness. We could go on, and then I would say the last thing, if you're going to remember something, to get really good at boundary protection, professional boundary protection.
That's difficult. What do you recommend that people do to do that?
Ask GPT to help you. I'm not kidding.
No,
See, I'm not so good at. There was a book that just came out called The Disease to Please.
Oh.
And all hurry and busyness and distraction is fear-based. It just is. Until you figure out, what am I afraid to lose? It's going to keep ruling your life. I think Carl Jung said it best, where it's something like, until the unconscious is made conscious, it will rule your life and you'll call it fate. And it gets to this. So you just got to, it's going inside, like all the fixings happening right there. That's the interesting part.
That is so interesting. Oh my gosh. Thank you for that. And I saw in your recommended book list, Essentialism.
Oh yeah.
By Greg McKeown. And I just love the subtitle where it says The Disciplined Pursuit of Less.
It is a discipline. Oh my goodness.
Greg
Greg
boundaries.
and his work. Yeah, boundaries, right. And self-care. So, I mean, I love that your podcast is called Return on Generosity. My mic drop, like if I have the last word here today, it would be start seeking generosity to yourself with professional boundaries, with self-care, with learning what you are in this season of your life. I'd say one of the most important things I've ever done for myself was to start realizing how much desire and how many of my goals were picked up by a different version of me that is no longer here. And it's such a preposterous waste of here and now. A lot of weight was taken off. So that you want to return on generosity, like get a return on generosity to yourself. It's such a juicy area.
Yeah. And and you're saying like, learn about yourself, pay attention to what's different and new. And, what does this version of me prioritize? Not just an accumulation of everything over the past however many years, right?
That's it.
I
always say we humans are verbs. We're not nouns. Like, stop treating us like a noun where we're a thing and this is what it always is. Not at all. Yeah. I forget how many tens of millions of cells die per second in the human body. Like, you're brand new all the time. Like, just feel into that.
So I know you believe in not subscribing to the busy, frenetic, like my worth is how exhausted I am at the end. So what do you say to the leaders who maybe not even intentionally, but do wear busy as a badge of honor?
Yeah, I would recommend a very interesting potential replacement. It's just an invitation. Instead of busied and hurried, swap that out with deliberate and swift. Nobody is saying accomplish less.
Yeah.
We're saying accomplish way more of the deliberate things.
Yeah.
And do it in the healthiest ways possible. That's what we're saying.
Right. Oh, that's so good.
I would love to hear what their argument to that is. I'd love it.
Right. Well, and what do you say to people who, when you say, how are you? Busy. What's been going on? I don't know. I've just been crazy busy.
Busy. Yeah, that's well,
It's just the answer. It's like the how are you answer.
It's I would pause and say, that's not how you are, that's how you feel. I would say, well, like if you were to ask me that, I'd say, well, how am I? I'm inspired and I'm satisfied. That's actually how I am in this moment.
Like right now. Yeah.
That's actually whoa, just being the example of, wait, I'm serious. I'm having a moment in this miraculous human experience with you, and I want to slow down and I want to know, how are you?
Yeah.
Like, be the one that stops them in their tracks and says, yeah, that trance you're in of not really being alive, but being numb and fast, it doesn't have to keep going. Be the example.
That'd
Takes
be refreshing.
courage.
Yeah.
It takes courage, and it is refreshing.
And I could almost see like a tear welling up in the person's eye because it's like,
Sometimes.
you see me. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, no one's seen me for a while. And it's not a matter of being seen. It's a matter of allowing yourself to be seen. Like, it's not a well-practiced thing. It kind of gets to the feelings thing. Like, not many people are very good with tuning into feelings. It can be mucky walking in the beginning as you kind of release a lot of the cellular trauma we've all been holding.
No, for sure. So what needs to shift in the workplace culture, in your opinion, that we can be more evolved in how we work and how we, thrive, and not be so like creating environments where I don't think it's intentional, but I think sometimes we create this frenetic environment.
Yeah, it's nobody's fault. I don't think there's some person at the top. It's having the courage to shift the momentum of ourself. It's us. So you don't need the whole team to do this. You do it.
Start with you.
Someone's going to see that. I remember one time I had when I started getting into this, I had this, she was the VP of HR in North America for that Akzo Nobel company. She literally asked me to come into her office, walked to her office. She goes, Jason, do you have enough work to do? And I go, yeah, got a lot of work. And she goes, it just doesn't seem like it. And I go, I said, well, come here. And I brought her over and I showed her this way of utilizing Outlook and the way it was designed, where it gives you this amazing view of all signal and no noise. And I was like, look at all that stuff I'm doing. These are all my projects. These are initiatives. This is what I'm doing next. And I'll never forget it. She literally kind of like, her eyes were this big, and she goes, she didn't say a word. She just walked out. And I was like, yeah, that's it. I love it when someone thought I didn't have enough work to do because I'm not adding to the fire.
Yeah, like freaking out. Yeah.
And I didn't need anyone's permission to get organized and re-belong to myself. Neither does anyone that ever listens to this. Just who cares if you're in a culture that does that?
Yeah.
People are going to pay attention to you in a good way.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad that she asked you that question and you could show her.
Me too.
Because I think sometimes people observe that and then they make judgments, but they don't ever like clarify. Give me a little more context here. What's going on?
Right. And who knows? I may have been on thin ice there. Like she was senior, she was on the executive team of North America, and who knows, maybe I was being hunted, but that all ended right there.
Right. Oh my gosh. So good. So how do you define, you said you like ROG as a concept and we should be more generous to ourselves. And I totally agree with that. Yeah. How do you define return on generosity in your own life and your own work?
I define it by how does it feel? I'm sorry to keep returning this, but it feels
great.
It feels darn good.
Consistent.
Yeah. And it's kind of ineffable. Like, we don't even need to put this Newtonian bucket thing into it. It feels good. And I feel joy in my work, and I feel inspired, and that's the return. That's better than money.
Who doesn't want to feel like that? Right?
Yeah. Right. That might be the new compensation is, all this AI world kicks in, is not how much money did you make last year? It's how much joy did you feel last year?
Yeah. How did you feel? Right.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I love that. All right. So you ready for some rapid fire questions, Jason?
Let's give it a go.
All right. Okay. I've got 5 for you.
All right.
First one. What's one thing you've stopped doing that made a big difference in your productivity?
Made a big difference in my productivity. I stopped being a butt kissing yes man.
Ah.
Oh yeah. That's
Was
a
that
big
like, how did you know you needed to do that?
a lot of inner work.
Mm-hmm.
I know where I got to steal that book title, I know where I got my disease to please. It's from a very, very loving mother who's amazing in every way. But she made sure everyone in the room was more than okay at her own cost. I picked up on it through mirror neurons, as kids do. Use that to climb corporate ladders and trade my well-being in for money and success and basically validation. Good boy.
Mm-hmm.
But then I started realizing this is a dead end. Like, where does it stop? Did some work, read some books, found my own little gurus in those areas, and finally surgically removed the portions of that I want to, kept the portions that I want to, because I still use it. I love helping people, and I hope everyone does. So it wasn't a thing of removing this cancer from me. It was, this is actually a powerful superpower, but it's not harnessed. It's not refined.
Yeah, it needs to be boundaried.
And it took a while, to be honest. Still working on it in some ways, but
Sure.
Quite far down the path now. Took years.
That's beautiful. Thank you for that.
Yeah,
what's your favorite way to reset when your brain feels tired? Or one of your favorite ways?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I was actually just like broken with things I do, but breath is fastest, easiest. And it doesn't matter where you are, how you're dressed, anything. Breath.
And you just you focus on your breath, you hold your breath.
Yeah. I'll share with you the fast one.
Yeah, that's great.
It's a three breath system. And I've done a lot of breath work. I mean, ranging from Wim Hof to Tumo breathing and everything in between. But this one's so fast and easy. Exhale fully. Like, don't inhale first. Right where you are, wherever you are, when you notice you're out of ease or not enjoying life, exhale fully. Hold it for like a 2 to 3 second hold right away. And you're like, I'm going to die. It's okay. What you're doing is accessing your lizard brain, your survival brain that says, breathe in, hurry, but don't. For like 2 or 3 seconds against your will, what you're doing is overriding the sleeping lizard self. And then you slowly inhale. And when you come from all the way down like that, after you've kind of struggled and you want air, and then you slowly, like, big breath, usually I'm able to capture that amazing, huge yawn feeling. Like, oh, I got it. You know what I mean? Like, you get it? That's one breath, and all the way down, nice and slow, and all the way up again, all the way down, all the way up, 3 of them. And you're chemically different.
And you're just different. Yeah.
You're just different.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you're totally recentered.
Amazing. And you can do that anytime.
Any time. There's no excuse not to do that. If it works for you, it's something to try. Sauna. I love cold plunge. Just a lot of exposures that override in that way. Yeah. There are bigger cycles too. There are things I do to reset the bigger cycles, medium cycles, and kind of getting on the hedonic cycles thing that, if you've ever read the book, what is that? Stealing Fire. Stephen Kotler and Jamie Wheel. Yeah. I've heard of it. I've not read it. Yeah, it's some juicy stuff. They're interesting guys. They're out there on the edge of that stuff. But that's so cool. That's my reset. Yeah. What's one practice you do daily that helps you to stay grounded? I do cacao ceremony. Oh. I've replaced coffee. I haven't replaced it. I've revisited my relationship with all of the chemical compounds, coffee, alcohol. Way more in control now. Now I use those plants and molecules instead of them using me. But cacao in the morning, I do a very awesome work burst right when I wake. My chronotype is morning at 4:30ish. I just wake up, always have. I'm in bed really early, so don't think it's amazing because I lose like the whole nightlife. But I do about a 2-hour deep work burst. And then I go right into cacao ceremony after that. And it's very ceremonial. I light the Palo Santo. I actually do a whole thing. I sit down in front of a little altar and I just say, what's emerging? Like, what am I curious about? I call it sacred curiosity. I just let it flow. It's so fun. Oh my gosh, I get so nerdy. I love that. And this is a solo sport? Totally solo sport. I've tried to show some of my closer friends. It's just, they're like, good Lord, that's amazing. Not for me. And I'm like, yeah, why am I even showing people? Who cares? This is about...
Hey, but somebody might find it intriguing and catch on, or at least, find their own version of that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I like the ritual part of it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, the ritual. I like ritual and ceremony is just remembering to remember.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter what it is. Just, it's good to find your own, whatever that is. It could be watching Seinfeld. It could be smoking a cigar. It could, whatever.
Whatever you're doing, be intentional about it, though.
Yeah. Something that brings you back.
So what's your favorite tech tool and then your favorite non-tech tool?
Favorite tech tool is probably at this moment GPT. I'm just having so much fun with it.
Me too.
Non-tech tool currently is Cacao.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. And my last question is, what's something that you're currently unlearning?
Oh, that's a huge question. I wish I would have worn my other sweater. I actually have a sweater that says unlearn.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because that's where the journey starts. Something I'm currently unlearning. I'm unlearning any last strongholds of self-love.
Say more. What do you mean?
Fear-based things. I'm still performative. And I just don't. I'm not interested in performative anymore. Like, take me or leave me. I'm going to be
letting it go.
The real deal for you. And if it's not for you, have a nice day. Have a nice life. I still love you.
Yeah. No ill will. Just
And that level of existential inspired confidence requires undisturbed self-love.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm unlearning. Is any of those last blockages.
Beautiful. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you for being you, for sharing this with us. Yeah. All the links to how to find you and your course and everything else, your podcast will be in the show notes. I'm just deeply grateful for you and for sharing this special time together.
Me too. I love the work you're doing in the world, Shannon. I'm so happy to meet you, and let's keep the long conversation going.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Cool.
Thanks for listening to ROG, Return on Generosity podcast. Please help us grow by subscribing and reviewing us on your favorite podcast player. And for more information, visit bridgebetween.com. We grow when we give.
우리는 나누면서 성숙합니다.
We grow when we give.
On rayonne quand on donne.
We grow when